hamsters rated R because pirates. Yar. R. Yar yar.
And we're live again. Yes, we're back with another episode of the Bam's Rated R, the worst podcast that is available. It is I, G, and I think with me today, I have one of our newest contributors, one of our new guys. Should we call him a new Barry? Calico, say hi to everybody.
Hey all, how's it going? Welcome to the podcast.
So, are you afraid? Are you nervous? This is your first news?
Yeah, it is my first news block that we've done. Nervous, yeah, definitely. As you can probably tell with all my 𝗚𝗺𝗃s and general mind farting that's kind of going on at the minute.
Well, no worries. I'm sure you're excellent. I've heard you do the interview. Just kept talking.
Yeah, well, now you can see it's quite the opposite.
Yeah, no worries. Anyways, it is the week of March 5th. Well, it's not quite March 5th. For us, we're recording a bit early as always. That means it's also episode 10. Not quite sure. We're still surprised. I guess you guys are as well. Later on, you're gonna hear Bam and I think 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀 take over for us. We're just here for the news. Bam has his monthly future-proof upcoming games coming up. They talk about what games are coming out in March, but because they were a little bit late, there were literally 2 computers blew up.
Oh yeah, I saw the photos on that one.
Yeah.
Wasn't it a power pack? Boom.
Yes, a power supply went boom on a laptop and a PC burned down or broke down or something. So, things are a little bit late. To prove it's a week late, that is okay. So they'll probably mention games that came out within the last couple of days, and then, the rest of them.
No, that's alright. Better late than never, and to be honest, our viewers, I'm sure, will always appreciate the dulcet tones of Bam himself.
Not to mention, it's always fun to hear Drac. I don't know why.
Can't be worse than 𝗙𝗂𝘁𝗂𝗏 laugh, who sounds like a donkey.
oh yes. To be fair, I love 𝗙𝗂𝘁𝗂𝗏, but his laughter...
It's something like this, isn't it? Is it?
He laughs on the inhale, yes.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing, because nobody else does that. And even, linguistically speaking, there's about a handful of languages that even have words on the... All languages generally speak on the...
Usually, yeah. Is that got to be some sort of genetic defect? It must be. Well, I wouldn't say a genetic defect, but something's wrong there.
With 𝗙𝗂𝘁𝗂𝗏, yeah, I'm sure there's something wrong. But we're not here to make fun of Isn't he technically Irish?
I think he described himself as part Chinese, part Roger Federer. So
I'm not sure what parts are what.
I don't really want to know, if I'm honest. That just sounds like all kinds of wrong. It's like one of those ones where you walk down a dark alleyway and you kind of just back out very slowly, wishing to God that you just didn't see what you saw.
Or heard what you heard.
Well, yeah. You can just imagine it down a dark alleyway, can't you? You're like, shit. Turn around, there's some fucking...
I'm amazed I cannot.
It actually makes me out of breath. It's quite hard. So, hats off to him for being able to do it for so long as he can. I'm surprised he hasn't killed over from lack of oxygen. Or even hyperventilation, if anything.
Yeah. Well, shall we get to the news out of your...
Yeah.
Taking on him.
Probably for the best.
Jimmy.
Well, if he does deal with hecklers quite well, if you've watched any of his things, so...
So, last time I was here in the NUG, I kind of did my thing where we go and look at some Kickstarters, interesting bits. That was me and Jolly. And we looked at particularly 2, because 2 that, we follow. That's the headache. There's too many Kickstarters for us to really look at all of them. We kind of pick a few that are interesting. Bevontule, we actually ended up having them on the show, or not on this show, the devs, the 22nd, which was literally just as a laptop. No, that was what? That was the day the PC blew up, and we had to switch host.
Oof, wow. I definitely don't envy you. I think I've got it bad with my first news segment. How did they take it? How did that go?
They took it okay, and we had a slight tech issue because OBS kept messing up the stream as well. So basically, first the computer blew up, we had to switch host because Jolly couldn't host it. Bam hosted it, then Drac's computer couldn't capture the video correctly. It was missing textures. On Drac's computer, it looked okay. The game looked perfectly fine, but stream was broken. So the whole thing ended up being delayed. We saddled everything. It ended up only going out on Twitch, but it's up on YouTube. If anybody wants to check out Bevontule, we had the gameplay, we had the devs, everything up on the YouTube. Slight headache though.
What?
Well, it's literally say sad fate. Their Kickstarter has ended, and they only hit $30,000 out of $50,000.
Really? That's surprising. From what I saw, it's definitely worth a look into, and as we all know these days, if we want variety in our community and variety of games that we want to have a look at, Kickstarter's pretty much the way to go. But if we don't support these people, then we get nothing. It's all left to EA and Ubisoft. Ugh.
And I think that's where the headache lies. There are too many, and there's too much controversy about them. There's some that do really
there
well.
Is that.
There's some that manages okay. And then there's some that get a lot of money and then just crashes and unrestrainable. And then there's some of the ones that don't go anywhere. And people, they read about the failures. They read about the negative ones. They don't read about the ones that succeed, because that doesn't make interesting.
No. Well, if that's the case, then I'm just going to quickly nip in here with the success story that I believe we talked about, not myself, but was reported by Bam many podcasts ago. The indie game Stonehearth, which is just like a village building game, they ended up, after their Kickstarter and time on Steam Early Access, they ended up being picked up by Radiant, who of League of Legends fame. So there's a good one. There's a good example of success.
And interestingly enough, the Bevontule devs they are not dismayed about this. They're saying they made mistakes in the Kickstarter, and one of the effects of the Kickstarter is that publishers have discovered people who hadn't really heard about the game before. They came out and said, you know what, if this doesn't work out, we might want to publish your game for you, help you with the budgets and everything. And
which, if anything, if anything, is sort of the whole aim of it all for most developers. They want that discovery. Yeah,
there's a lot that don't want the publishers. They want to stay indie, and some are going, if we can get a publisher at the same time. We can't say they're using it in one way or another, but it is one of those options. You get on Kickstarter, you get noticed. Even if it fails, you can go back on Kickstarter, you can go on Indiegogo or Fic. You can go back and say, what did we do wrong? What do we need to improve? The demo, is the material not good enough? No, it's just not the end of the road. And publishers coming out of the woodwork and say, we'd like to pick up your game. That is very much...
Well, I think publishers must be realizing now that the same old franchises are just kind of not cutting it anymore. I mean, look at SimCity, a well-beloved franchise by millions of people. And look at the latest iteration, SimCity 2013. That fell flat on its face, and that was developed and published by EA. Now, if EA can pick up something similar from an independent developer that works, and they can get it to come out properly on day of release, all the better for them, and it's less risk for the publisher, I suppose. Unfortunately, it does mean that if anything does go wrong, then the independent developer ends up being kind of left out to dry, I would suspect.
Yeah, I'd say there's risk both ways, and there's probably a lot of people who need to pick up it.
Well, yeah. I wouldn't trust EA to pick up my shopping, let alone anything else.
Yeah. The other one we mentioned a couple of weeks ago was Pantropy.
Yes, I saw that. I've been watching on YouTube myself. I am looking forward to seeing how this gets on.
Yeah. Right now, there's targeting ending on the 13th, which a little over 2 weeks from what we're recording here. Well, little under, 10 days. When this comes out, there'll be a week left. They are hovering right now in the mid-30,000s out of 5,000. I'm a bit worried for it. The game looks really good. The game looks really interesting. The whole setup, yes, it's another survival game. Yes, it's another go out, find resources, build a base, etc. But I think they're hitting the right nodes for me with the futuristics. And can I just say, reading their updates, they made a prison. So if you do team killing, shoot your teammates, you can be sent off to a prison by the game that is on the map, and then you have to hammer rocks until you're freed. Like, that's your punishment. Nobody
pretty much like old school American prison. Nice. I wonder if it comes with soap and a rope.
Yeah, it's just nobody likes punishment, so they made it so you can actually break out your teammates because you're man down. So you can go over there and you can break them out, but it's a prison, so it's heavily defended. That couldn't be some interesting setups there. I think that's
a good take on it. How do you normally deal with it? Well, most servers just ban you and that's it, and which generally forces people away from a game. But if you make it part of the gameplay, that's ingenious. I like that. But I think what you were saying about it just being another survival, another multiplayer game, I think where the idea or where they possibly hope that the servers go as they grow, is similar to kind of PlanetSide, but where you have to not only protect your base, but the base is destroyable, and you have to build it up, so there's a bit more sort of investment on the team side. Instead of going, oh, look, we lost that point again. Oh well, we'll capture it again in about another 2 hours.
Yeah. So I'm with the whole, this thing I would rather play than most of the other survival games. Does that make sense? It's just...
Yeah. I have to admit, the genre of survival is pretty much inundated with sort of Minecraft-esque, or at least a bit more realistic, a la 7 Days to Die, but it's all still got zombies in it, so it's nice to have a survival game that's not zombie. Pretty much just like another one that's just come out on Steam Early Access, 𝗏𝗏𝘁𝗀, if you've heard of it.
You've been playing that one, haven't you?
Yes, I have. I bought it last Tuesday, pretty much just a couple of days after it came out on Steam, and it's a bright, vibrant game, similar to Minecraft in that it's voxel based, but the artwork is more realistic toward the 7 Days to Die end, but not a zombie in sight. You're probably wondering, well, how does that work for a survival game? Because you just sat there essentially cutting trees. Well, the enemy isn't the zombie, the enemy is essentially yourself, and a fucking huge meteor sat in low.
Now, I saw you added this to the 𝗏𝗏𝘁𝗀, and I went over to the 𝗏𝗏𝘁𝗀 Discord and said, hey, guys, can you give me some keywords? What is the game to you? Because it's enough, perhaps, that we play the games and say what we think, but I still like, the idea of what do other people... Everybody on the 𝗏𝗏𝘁𝗀 Discord, of course, are there because they like...
Well, yeah. What did they say?
Reply. I got a grand total of one reply. Somebody called Psycho Romeo said, oh, I should point out that it's just like Minecraft.
Okay, no. No. Yes, there is crafting, yes, there is gathering of materials, yes, there is mining, but let's put it this way. When the whole aim of the game is to protect the planet that you're on, which is quite small in comparison to Minecraft, what I mean by quite small, you can literally circumnavigate it in about 5 minutes at the minute, and that's just a limitation of what the developers have put out. Bearing in mind it is still early access. You've basically got to collaborate on a server with other people to save the planet. You can either do this by exploiting the planet and destroying the ecosystem, which is a living, breathing thing. So if you deforest an area, all the animals that rely on, say, all the plants that live in forest areas, they'll die off, which means you lose all the plants that are edible within the forest for your diet, and all the animals, and you destroy entire ecosystems. So yeah, you may save the planet physically, but you haven't saved it properly. Or you can collaborate as a team, as a group, create government, create laws, and try and do it in such a way that you still make progress, but without setting up too much of an imbalance with the ecology. It's an interesting take on the survival genre where your worst enemy is the other people that you're playing with, because you can't control them. You can't sort of work out, like with most games, oh, it's nighttime, zombies are going to spawn. All I'll do is just light up everywhere and, oh look, no more zombies. No, you can't sort of rationalize what a human being is going to do. So if you say, no, you can't do that, they'll either go, fair enough, it's to save the planet, or actually, fuck your shit, I'm going to destroy this place. Let it burn.
Yeah, what I basically just heard was you say, you have to work together with the people to save the planet, and you're doomed.
Pretty much. I think there's a term, isn't there? It's called the tragedy of the commons, or tragedy of commons, I think is the phrase, isn't it?
Those who remember their history lessons, that's 100 years old now. Tragedy of the commons, that is the notion that any individual, and I should point out, this was usually referred to, it's the expression about the same age, the concept of corporate. It kind of sort of refers to corporations, but also people who have vested interest. Any individual or corporation will exploit nature by what we today call externalizing costs, to the point that it will destroy it. We'll all use a resource until there's no more of that resource, purely for our own gain. That's a little bit simplified, but that's the notion, and that works here. I need wood. I want to build a house. I need to build a house. I'm going to exploit all the wood. Well, no, because if you exploit all the wood, all the other players...
Yeah, because then they can't have houses, or you destroy the ecosystem, which means no food for anyone. But you're going, well, who gives a shit? I've got my house. But yeah, that's humans. And speaking of exploitation, the next piece, which is about Detroit Become Human, kind of talks about the exploitation of artificial intelligence and androids, doesn't it?
It does a bit. At least I've looked at the two of the trailers as well as the old tech. Dear Lord, actually, it's really well made.
I do as well. I'm actually kind of disappointed. Yeah, I'm actually kind of disappointed that the game isn't that, basically, just fleshed out, because there are so many sort of fan theories and fan ideas about how they should do the storyline for this game, all about this android that the tech is creating. You know, they could have done something with that, but as it is, we end up with this, which, from the trailers that we've both seen, seems a very interesting concept.
Can I just say, the tech, or the Kara tech, didn't you watch Bicentennial Man?
Yes, I did. Yeah, with Robin
Isn't that
Williams.
pretty much it?
It is, kind of, but the last time I saw that was well over 10 years ago now. I don't remember Robbie Williams kind of being on the assembly line and being threatened with being torn apart and pleading with the tech. Was he? No.
Well, it's a little bit. At one point, they go back to the factory and say, "Hi, I need help maintaining my android," and they go, "Oh, we'll take him apart. We'll take him off your hands, take him apart, see what went wrong, and you can get a new one." No, that's not it. With my android, it's broken, but it's not broken, as it's become aware.
Yes.
It's broken as it's mechanical, and the company boss might have realized this, and he kind of goes, "Yeah, they want him. They want the android to see how they achieve what caused this malfunction."
Well, that's just it.
Meanwhile,
Some humans would see that as malfunction, and like the two protagonists in the film, if I remember rightly, they don't see it as a problem, do they?
Sort of, and not. Eventually, they kind of come to it and say, "No, it's not a problem." But you can see it initially. Granddaughter of the girl that the robot originally, or android, bonded with, when she encounters, you just go, "Hell no!"
Yeah. It's almost like that. I forget the phrase. It's sort of that over familiarity. It's too human, and we kind of go, "Ooh, hang on." It's almost like everything's the turrets. Yeah, that's it, the uncanny valley. It's the whole reason why Portal gun turrets people think are cute and funny, because they've got just enough human characteristics to empathize with in such a... But if they walked, talked, acted like humans and then shot you in the face, it would be disconcerting, or, as you say, uncanny, and it's the uncanny valley thing.
Yeah, just a small note we should try. Williams actually saw that at West Movie.
Really?
Yeah, he did not like it.
Well, I suppose he enjoyed Jumanji better then.
Well, yeah, it seemed like it, as well as way back. It's probably before you were born.
Yeah, well, I was about to say I'm not that old, but no, thank you for the compliment. Thank you. I'll take that. I'll definitely take that one.
No, Detroit Become Human.
Yes.
The trailers, the two that I've seen, I mean the Kara one. No, the Kara one is the one where she's taking care of the kid and keeps getting rebooted. And there's the police officer one. The police officer one I liked. The kid and the android keep getting rebooted. I don't want to say too much about it. People should check them. That one emotionally hit me in a place that I took a big for reason. But the police one was, it was interesting, but it's this whole point and click. Click that area, click that, quickly read, move forward. There's a time element, but there's also gather enough information. So you open up dialogue options, you can solve. It's a bit of a text adventure.
Well, I mean, the developers are the same people who did Heavy Rain, aren't they? So we can pretty much expect our emotional heartstrings to be tugged, and the conceptions that we make of the characters within the game to be tested as well.
Yes. Can't really add to that.
No. However, speaking of conceptions, the concept art for the cover of the box art, the fans weren't particularly happy with that one, were they?
I would say if I ignore the card tech, I don't like it. It's boring. That half a face is my thing. I'm thinking back, I was doing some software for TV production 20 years ago, where just for fun I did the same thing for that. Like if you opened up that software, two half faces cut in that way. For me that feels passé. It feels done because we were doing it that far away. But it's also being done to no end now, and even the one they put up isn't good. It's cute the way it's cutting through, the segment of face, the little light on the side. I don't think it's good. And then I say, people bonded emotionally with Kara and the tech deck.
Yes,
said in that trailer with her as well.
Not with the male android that we see on the front of the current cover art. I mean,
I think
there's
he's called Mark or Marcus or something.
Marcus. I mean, there's a DeviantArt artist who's done a fan version of the art cover with Kara in instead. And I have to say that actually speaks more about the game in that sense than this half face with a glowing temple.
Yeah, and I buy pretty much exclusively physical copies. I don't buy digitals. If I got this one, I'd be inclined to print that one out instead and put that in the cover.
Well, hopefully if the fans not make enough of a fuss, but suggest, look, this is the one we like, the one from DeviantArt, but then you don't know whether they've printed it already, chances are they have, and they're not going to waste money on it. But maybe they'll do like a special Kara edition, director's cut or something.
Did we even mention the release date, May 25th?
Yep, it's in the notes. I'm being absolutely blind.
I suddenly doubted we actually mentioned that. So May 25th means it's gone to gold. The disc's pressed. Likely the cover is already in print.
Yeah,
or at least,
so there's no going back.
Clear.
Well, that's just it. The last 6 months of any development is generally a point of no return for most developers unless something seriously bad happens.
Yeah, I said the game would have gone gold. Disc would go into print, etc. There's still development is different today because console online, but a critical bug would be a game stopper. Should be a game stopper.
Yeah,
there's
should
games
be.
that didn't. Artwork can be changed. Sorry?
I'm just a bit of a cough, that's all.
So, but yeah, it's just I cannot praise particularly the car tech demo. Yes, the car trailer, the police officer trailer, they are good. I would say it should come with a trigger warning because people who've experienced certain things are gonna feel some of this a little bit too close to home.
Yes, I think so too, especially if you do watch that Kara demo. And not the Kara Tech demo, the Kara demo for Detroit.
Trailer,
I've seen it, and it definitely tugged on my heartstrings, especially the fact that it hits a bit close to home. I won't say why, but it definitely hits home, same way as it does with you, G.
Yeah, it hits memory way back. Not memories of myself.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we carry on? Because I put one more bullet in. We've been blabbering for 28 minutes according to the timer. Man, I hope somebody edits it. Shouldn't we do some actual news, like news?
Yep, and I think, hang on, we've got somebody from the American Financial Times, and they've got a report on the UK games market. I'll just hand you over. Good evening there, podcast viewers. It's the UK Financial Times report, and here over the American Financial Times, we have the UK games market grew 12.4% to a record of £5.1 billion in 2017. UK mobile market revenues break £1 billion barrier. So, if you're doing any investments there, folks, there's your price. VR hardware sales reach 100 million in the UK. Consoles up 29.9% to 659 million as players invest in the Nintendo Switch, PS4 Pro, and the Xbox One X. Huge 51% growth in the PC game hardware sales of 249 million to 376 million. The mobile games passed 1 billion Great British pounds, and the UK probably going bankrupt with this break shit anyways.
Okay, yeah, that was probably the worst impression of an American I've heard in a while.
It's alright, Drac will probably 𝗙𝗄𝘁𝑒 me, point me towards some Trump videos or something. Or even better, some Bush ones. I can goodify my accent.
We can't mention him, we're getting hit on Google. YouTube does voice-to-text thing and then says, oh, somebody mentioned the Trump thing. And as a result, we get a flag. Oh yeah, this is not, this doesn't fit it doesn't really matter ultimately because we've been demonetized. But we shouldn't say that.
Okay, what about President Floppy Wig?
Feel free.
Excellent, that'll do. Well,
but it's just it was nice to see, they come out, UKI compiled all business group, what do you call them in UK? Industry group for game development. They compile all the data. It was interesting to see how
industry watchdog. I think so.
Well,
yeah,
they might use that word for themselves.
Possibly.
See how much it actually grew and how big. Right now, video games UK, and this I know also goes in the US, are bigger in terms of revenue, in terms of take, call it, than movie.
I think it depends on the caliber of the movie. Movies tend to be, you sit down, you watch it, and that's it. Done. An hour and a half of your life. Whereas...
Yeah, you say that. The comic shop talk got. So far, they're Black Panther 3, each of them.
Well, I've not even seen it once. I must admit. That's it, me shunned by them now, isn't it, really? But I think where you end up spending, I mean, here in the UK, you go to, say, a View Cinema or any local cinema, and you're paying about £11, which I think is probably about $15 for one ticket, one adult ticket. And then if you're going with your girlfriend or your partner or your boyfriend or whatever, that's £20 to £25 just on tickets.
And then if you want popcorn, it's another £20.
Well, exactly. Looking for a large popcorn, and believe me, I don't share my popcorn. That's another £7. So, yeah, you're looking about £40, £50 just to go see a movie at the cinema. So
yeah, but then you're looking at it wrong. You're not just going to see a movie. You're going... It's a night out. It's an event with your girlfriend, boyfriend, pet dog, whatever. It's more than just going to... People who make that comparison, they're doing it wrong in my opinion, because if you want to watch the movie, wait a year, it'll be on Blu-ray, or Hulu.
Yeah, or it'll be on the television or whatever.
Yeah. So you can watch it, but if you want the experience of having people throw popcorn at you and people chatting around you and sitting there with your best friend or whatever, go out and have some fun before, have some fun after, make an event out. That's what you're paying for.
Yeah, exactly. But then I think with some people, and may point towards why the growth in the market, it just ends up being that thing of, well, can I really spend 50 quid on going to the cinema when I see my friends regularly anyway, and we all play the same game, so we can socialise on the same game whenever we want for £50 and get more out of it for socialisation anyway. But no, I completely agree with you. The whole thing needs to be an experience. Go do some bowling or something beforehand, or go get a pizza or whatever. No, you're completely right there, G.
Yeah, and it is, what has happened is movie company, the oldest continuing movie company is Nordic Film in Denmark, started in 1811. There's arguments that there are older companies in the US, but they have not existed continuously. Movies have had a while, right? Everybody watch a movie. Video games are now coming up. We're now at the point where enough people play video games.
Where they're socially accepted.
Yes, it's nice. So it was just, these numbers really show, like VR hardware sales hitting £100 million in the UK alone. Well, that tells us people are actually buying into it. Console gaming is up. PC gaming is up, despite everything. You can't buy a graphics card, but they still sell PCs. So, yeah, the market is still alive and functioning. All of them. E-console, hardware, software, VR, mobile is insane. But yeah, I think this was good news. And it's pretty much the same image over in the States. It's pretty much the same image over here in, mainland.
Over in Europe, yeah. Well, to be honest, an increase in the market is a good thing for consumers, really, isn't it? Us gamers. Because as more money gets poured into the market, it should, hopefully, be channeled into more development, which means more games for us to enjoy.
Dear Lord, there was 7,500 last year on Steam. Most of those were crap games.
Yeah. There were some gems in there, though.
It's better games.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying more as in just more. Must have more games. No. We want more quality games, please.
Yeah.
I don't want another turd simulator.
On that note, should we say it's time to talk about those more games, particularly which ones are coming here in March. So I'm gonna leave you. I guess, Calico, you too, you're gonna drop off?
Yeah, I'm dropping off.
And Bam and Drac should be right back after this little message, talking about the games releasing in March.
Excellent. Please join us back.
If you like painting your house square, you must listen to Bam in this episode.
And we're back from the break. This time up, we have our upcoming games, as Bam sometimes likes to call it, Proof segment. And with me, I have Mr. Senor Bam de Havoc.
Yes, guys, hello, welcome to our block. Yes, as I mentioned before, we play second fiddle to G and Calico. Yes, so our job is to make this section more amazing, more awesome, and more brilliant than a more awesome, amazing, and brilliant thing. Right, now, as you guys can hear, Drac is ill. That's the dedication he has to future-proofing yourself to various games that we don't think warrant anyone looking at or whatever have you. But we are also victims to the AAA nightmare. But, a game's a game, and if it's a good game, we'll play it. So, Drac, what's first on the agenda? Or the chopping block, rather. Chop, chop.
Well, first one is, I guess, the next game in a series, actually a series I hadn't heard of or played before. This looks kind of interesting. It's called 𝗤𝗺𝘄𝘀, and I'm not going to promise them pronouncing last part right. But it's an isometric tactical action role-playing game in real time with pause. It's single player, unfortunately, because I love to see games like this have co-op. But it's, you know, more or less you got your futuristic look. It was funded on Kickstarter. And I guess the series started back on PlayStation 2000. Now, I'm having to guess at the price here because on Steam it lists when it's coming out, but it's a price yet. But based on the Kickstarter, I'm guessing it, and that comes out on this.
So is this an actual Kickstarter success story? A game that got funded and is actually being made thanks to, you know, the patrons, the people who are interested in the game itself. So this is a Kickstarter success story. Yeehaw! One made it through, boys. Well, not one. A handful have made it through. A handful have made it through.
Yeah, they definitely they made it through. I think part of that would be, you know, fans of the series probably help push that through. But, from what I've seen from some of the trailers, the trailers themselves are like cell shaded type CGI, which is kind of neat to watch everyone. And but like I said, as far as the game itself plays, it's a, you know, top down isometric. You're running around shooting things. So like I said, it looks interesting. I haven't played any of the fear effects here.
I must say, I didn't even hear about this game until you mentioned it earlier on in the week, and I'm like, well, bloody hell, there's actually a game I haven't heard about, and it's sort of a genre I enjoy playing. And you said it's around £20, and you got that sort of from the Kickstarter. Is that what the Kickstarter minimum pledge called? There we go, the pledge. So the minimum pledge was £20, so £20 gets you the game. £20 is what you reckon it would cost on the old Xbox and PS4 and, God help me for saying this, Nintendo Switch and PC. So it's going across all the platforms.
It is, yeah, and that was the minimum pledge. Well, I should say there was one that was a little bit lower. It was only about $17, and that was what they were calling an early pre-order. So I'm not sure if that'll still be available at that price. Or just based on the Kickstarter, I was having to guess that it's going to be around $20.
£20 gets you a game that was funded on Kickstarter, and for all intents and purposes, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, all the people of the planet are listening to this beautiful podcast, it looks like it's a lot of fun. It's not necessarily a genre I would go out of my way to play, but after looking and reading the Kickstarter successes and bits and pieces, I actually might give this a go. You know, it's a bit of fun. £20, you know, it's a, you know, £20 for a bit of a laugh. It looks like a good game. Right, happy days.
Well, Bam, I'll let you bring up the next one since you sounded pretty excited about it.
Ah, yes, look, right, Warhammer, right. I'm a big fan of Warhammer, right. God help me for saying this, but I'm not even going to pronounce it correctly. It's just Warhammer 2, right. It's coming out, right. It's coming out. That's what I'm going to say. I just can't wait. Vermintide, right, it's coming out. There we go. I was going to say Indian, blah, 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 2, whatever. 8th of March. It's coming out. It's coming out on PC initially, but the beta signups are available on their websites for Xbox One and PS4, so it's coming out on there as well, and it's available on Steam for $29.99. Yeah. So look, about £30. Hopefully it'll be the same price on Xbox One and PS4. It's not coming out on Nintendo Switch.
Not yet.
I wonder why that is. No, not yet. It's a tablet, mate. You can't really play much on tablets apart from, you know, games that are relatively small. But enough about the console. Warhammer, dude. Warhammer on PCs and consoles, and oh, I love it. I just love it. I'm a big fan of this whole sort of thing. I love it. Warhammer, yes. The geek within me is melting. Love it.
Yeah, I have the first one and picked that up so we could play at our LAN sessions. But for some reason, we never ended up actually playing it that much. So I am still kind of excited for this. I do want to play it, but because of some of the other stuff that's coming out this month, it's probably going to go on the back burner for me.
No, dude, seriously, look, right, you've got to sit. Okay, look, Warhammer games tend to be a bit drawn out, but they're always a lot of fun. They're always very engaging. I really enjoy it. The stories, you know, you could take it or leave it, right? But the tactic Warhammer game. But the engagingness, the intuitiveness of the actual game itself is very well thought out, and I think they're going to do a brilliant job. So I can't wait. I really can't wait. Based on the past, when it comes to the Warhammer games that I've played, 40k one, really like the 40k one. This is going to be absolutely brilliant. Cannot wait. I really hope.
Did you play the first one?
I played the one for Relic, I think it was. That's how long ago it was. There was 2. Played the first one, loved it. Played the second one, loved it. Those are 40k ones I'm talking about.
No. I'm talking about Vermintide.
The first, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Then I played Warhammer Vermintide, right? And the playstyle was a bit different. It was interesting. And then I went to Ultramarines 1 on the console, and I haven't really looked back. Games Workshop have to have done pretty good when it comes to allowing people to take their license, or take the license and run with it quite literally. And they've done very well on marketing. It's amazing. No story, I think, has been left to rot and fester, and I don't really think I can read bad when it comes to PC and console. Perhaps maybe the 𝗏𝗏, Trial by Fire. That was a bit naff, but I still played it and I enjoyed it, and if you enjoy something, you liked it. So
well, that's one of the reasons why I'd asked if you played the first Vermintide, because it's a little bit different from what you might expect out of Warhammer. I think they follow, it definitely follows like the Left 4 Dead type game formula a lot more, but it was a lot of fun to play. And I'm looking forward to when I get my hands on it.
Well, let me tell you, if you're not into the Warhammer Vermintide, I was going to pronounce that wrong, you could always go and play Surviving Mars Drac, 15th of March, PS4, Xbox One, PC, Mac, Linux, but not Nintendo.
I'm sensing a theme.
Well, what I'm trying to point out is that these games can't be played on tablet. That's what I'm trying to get at. Something that I'm always going to stab you with. I'm just twisting the blade a little.
Well, you could twist all you want, but if we were to look at the actual game for Surviving Mars, that not only could that play, but it probably would be fitting on.
I will admit there are some flaws to my theory about the Nintendo Switch. I will admit this. There are some horrible flaws, right? It's basically a sci-fi city builder system, right? Single player, $39.99, so it's going to be about £40, guys. Basically colonize and explore Mars with this whole Elon Musk launching his Tesla to space, and him saying he's going to nuke the Marsy ice caps and make it more conducive to human civilization. Yeah, go, do that. Go blow up Mars with that Mars.
Yeah, and I put this one on our list mostly for G, because I know he likes the city building sims, and hey, it says it's on Mac, so he could play it.
That's the let's face it. That's the only reason why G wants to have a look at this game, because it's a Mac-based game. Well, not Mac-based, but it can run on a Mac. That's the only reason. So when he searches for games, he just types in Mac games, and then the list of 3 come up. So this is now 4. Happy days. Let's face it. That's really it. So yes, guys, Surviving Mars, $39.99. Go and explore Mars and colonize it, and build cities and do stuffs. Yay.
And next up, we have one that recently has got quite a bit of publicity. Twitch, other media outlet. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. So, Sea of Thieves comes out on the 20th of March. You become a pirate, get your crew of scallywags together, and go out and explore a raid island. You can challenge other player-controlled crews, take them on with your friends, or even on, by yourself. And stock up with as much booty as your hold can carry, and get the hell out of there. But this one looks like so much fun. If we could actually get a crew of us together to play, that's a lot of fun. But the only problem with that is it's only on Xbox One.
Yeah, look, right. That makes sense, right? Because it launches on PC, and we all know Xbox One and PC are doing their amalgamation thing. Yes, you can have an Xbox. Simply, console players can be the whole sort of multi-networking, whatever have you. Yeah, I see why they've done it. Get it? See? Oh, yeah, never mind. Sorry, that was a bad joke. Right, I see what's done it. Right, it's frustrating because I really, really want to jump on board a ship and blow your ass out. Not your ass, but blow your ass out the water. Using my cannons and my men of war and my rigged sails. I really would like to do. I really would, but meh.
Well, you said you're working on becoming a PC Master Race when you get your PC.
Yeah, I am very much close to becoming a PC Master Racer. So my 2 PlayStation 4s might take a bit of a seat, but I seriously doubt that. My wife plays on one of them. I have the other one. She's got the new shiny one, the 1TB PS4 Pro. I've got the horrible little 500 gigabyte one that I got from day 1 release. So I think I'm losing out here, bro. So
the things we do for love.
Well, whatever, whenever, I know, it's frustrating, it's annoying. I get to stream on that one, but that's about all I get to do, It's her PlayStation 4, not mine, but I bought it, so, yeah. Anyway, guys, back on track. Sea of Thieves, 20th of March, Xbox One and PC, only $59.99 on the Microsoft Store. And I can't stop talking like that. I think I've had too much jolly, far too much jolly.
Can you imagine that, though, if you and Jolly and I all got on a ship and grabbed Calico?
Well, we all know Calico would be at the head, right, taking a shit. Jolly would be in the crow's nest, right, G would be... Where would G? I don't know where G would be, to be brutally honest, with his wheelchair. I do not know. But I know for a fact, Drac, if it was left to that, it would be you and me. You'd be manning the helm, and I'd be shouting at Jolly to rig the chasers and yeah.
Oh, see, I thought G would be at the helm, piloting the boat, and you and I would be shooting ourselves out of the cannons.
No, well, to be really honest, mate, with his history of accidents in anything motorized, I don't think that would be wise. Even the unmotorized version, no. Why? No, I don't even trust him in a wheelchair. Put it that way. No, just no. I think he'd probably be better off tied to the mast. You know, like they did in the old days, so don't lose anyone.
Well, I suppose we could shoot him out of the cannon too.
Well, hey, that would be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Firing a Belgium out of a cannon. That would always...
That's one of the things that I absolutely have to try. Not shooting a Belgium out of a cannon, but I have to try, like, getting in a cannon, shooting myself out onto someone else's ship.
There's something called the little voice in you, right? If the little voice in your head says, hell no, that's a bad idea because you're gonna die, then listen to that voice, bro.
Well, I'm curious, because in some of the videos I saw, everybody had just shot themselves out in the water. But I'm curious to see what happens if you land either on land or on some other ship. If you just land and don't take any damage, well then hell, that's a good way to board another ship. Just have your whole crew jump in the cannons, shoot yourselves over to somebody else's ship before they really get into, range to do too much damage to yours and then take them down.
Well, you got to think about the mechanics behind it. You were quite literally sitting on a cannonball with a charge of black powder, cannonball, fucking whatever have you, right? You're just going to die, bro. Just go and die.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait until after the 20th of March to find out.
Did I just kill your words? Did I? No, look, seriously. If it was a controlled environment, right, and you had, the old days where they had cannon firers, people jumping into these big masses, fire themselves out, that would make sense. Or you could calculate all bits and, judge and whatever have it. Do it. But if you're just throwing yourself into the old Bessie, and then, lighten that fuse, and then go... No, bro, you're going to die.
Bam, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I think you have this segment confused with, like, the news segment where we talk about real-life stuff. We're talking about video games here, right. So, reality...
Right. I thought, sorry, I get the blinds blurred a bit sometimes. Reality video games, you never know what's real nowadays. Drac, I'll let you introduce the next game because this is yours. This is your baby.
Well, and that actually leads really well into this blurring the lines between reality and video games. So, up next, March 27th, Far Cry 5. And this will be the latest in the Far Cry series. This time it takes place in good old USA, out in the backcountry of Montana, I believe. And you're playing where you're taking on, and again, it's more or less like another kind of ruthless dictator, but this time the dictator is a cult leader up in Montana. One of these, how do I put this, religious zealots that gets folks to follow his iron fist, so to speak.
Yeah, I'll be honest, mate. When it comes to the Far Cry sort of franchise, I've never really understood why they pick these sort, the religion, the guy in the Himalayas. I mean, I played the one in Africa. That's what I remember. The one in Kenya or Uganda or somewhere. And to be honest, after a while, it just became the same old thing. Chase a guy in a vehicle, hunt this thing down, shoot that, go here, and it's the same thing, and then I played the one in the Himalayas, and don't get me wrong, it was cool. It was really cool running around with a tuk-tuk and doing all these bits and pieces, but it was like, it hasn't really moved on. The game hasn't really... Oh, okay, so that's painting with a really broad brush, right? A very big brush, but I don't think it's really moved on from that. Same old things, just in a different location. Like you said, 27th of March, Xbox One, PS4, PC. It's a first-person action co-op game. Blah 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 blah. It's you can buy it on Steam for $69.99, and I'm pretty sure in all game stores or across the UK, GameStop in America, it'll be $60. In UK, £60. And if you get the season pass, it'll be a lot more.
Yeah, but this is one where I think the season pass is worth it.
Honestly, when it comes to buying the season pass now, after the loot crate disaster, thank you very much, EA. I honestly think it's I don't know, worth spending more money on extra content that should already be in the game. I don't know, Drac. I don't know. You know, on a game that just basically the same types of missions.
That's where I
don't know.
think that
I
this
don't know.
season pass is actually. I don't know if you've seen much of the information on it, but I was actually several episodes back we talked about some of this stuff, and I said I was kind of out on season passes, and it was right around the time that they released information on what season pass was going to be for Far Cry 5, and I'm like, damn it, they're pulling me back in. I was just getting away from, you know, pre-ordering a game with a season pass because, you know, too many times there just wasn't enough content to keep me playing the game through the season pass. It just didn't feel worth it. But this one,
exactly, and I was with you on that. Yes.
But wait, there's more. You know, they're gonna take you to Mars. You're gonna get to go to Vietnam, and of course they're gonna have a zombie mode. So it's like, well, damn it. This one actually looks and sounds cool enough that I probably will play the season pass content. So I'll probably end up picking the season pass. But the other neat thing about Far Cry 5 is that they finally have done co-op right. You know, in Far Cry 4, they allowed you to do co-op with a friend, but it was only like assaulting different compounds. That was it. In this, you're finally going to be able to play through the whole story with a buddy if you want to, so you can play the whole thing co-op. And I wish they would have done that with the Assassin's Creed, what was it, Brotherhood? Where they allowed... Yeah, they allowed co-op in that one too, but again, it was just missions. So I would love to see them come out with an Assassin's Creed game that allows you to play co-op throughout the whole game.
But bear in mind, this is local co-op on the same team. Co-op, you know, for example, Drac, you're in the West Coast, right? I'm in UK. When I say West Coast, the West, right? I'm in the UK. We can co-op the game together. You know, that's just.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that shared screen
Brilliant.
Co-op crap.
That's brilliant.
You know, we're
I'm
playing on a
with you. I
PC,
just
not a
thought I'd
console,
clarify
so there
that.
should be no shared screen crap.
No, I get that. I get that. But I'm saying, from what I've read and seen in this game as well, you can co-op with your internet friends. So you're in the West Coast, you can switch your PS4 on, I can switch mine on, and we can co-op the game. You know, that sounds absolutely brilliant. Apart from the fact there will be massive latency issues. Massive latency issues.
Yeah, I guess that'll be something worth checking out to see how bad or how good that might be, since you're not worried about connecting up to a server, you know, hundreds or thousands of other people connecting in, you know, maybe the latency will be too bad.
I see what you mean. Anyway, guys, it's out the 27th of March. Xbox One, PS4, PC.
I wish you could see me right now, because I'm sitting here and I'm like rubbing my beard like Fu Manchu style, just grinning.
So I'm going on to Fu Manchu styling my beard.
Yeah, but you know what's so great about
yes,
this, Bam? I haven't had to bring up Nintendo Switch not once during this show. You have brought it up every time. That little earworm has gotten into you, and now I've got you talking about it.
No, don't go there. Don't go there. No, seriously, don't go there. The reason why I'm bringing it up, Drac, is because the past 15 bloody episodes, right, you've hammered me to death with Nintendo Switch is so great. Oh look, I can use it in my car. Oh look, I can this. It can make me coffee. It can. No, hang on. It's a tablet, bro, that happens to have controllers on the side of it that go click. And yeah, wait, never mind. But so I'm now hammering into you that the Nintendo Switch is a tablet that can't actually do anything apart from play very basic tablet games. You know, and they say, oh, Nintendo Switch outsold this. No. You're comparing it to you're comparing it. No. You're comparing it to a console. It's not a console. It's a tablet. So compare the Nintendo Switch sales to other tablet sales, which is iPad, Samsung.
It's a free-range console.
I think even the Lenovo tablet. That's a free-range console, my left. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to drive home to you. Nintendo Switch, yeah. Fu Manchu beard, yes.
Well, and on that note, we'll move to the last game of the month that we're going to talk about. Now, have you seen anything about Agony, Bam?
No. This type of game I tend to stay away from because 1, it terrifies me. 2, I'm bad at playing it, and 3, it terrifies me. So yeah.
Yeah, this one I wasn't even aware of until this weekend when I was doing the research for this stuff. But I'm not a big fan of most survival games because I just don't like having to keep track of the little tickers, you know, food and water. Oh no, I'm freezing. Oh no, I ate something and so it made me more thirsty and, you know, all that stuff. So I'd rather just explore and play the game. But the interesting thing about this is that you're trapped in hell. You're some type of tormented soul, like searching for a way to escape. So this isn't your typical survival game where you're on some world, whether it's realistic or fantasy type world. You are trapped in hell trying to find a way out.
So like Don trying to get in. You're trying to now get out? Is that what this is?
I guess. I can only talk based on what I've seen from the videos thus far, but I would say for folks who are fans of either horror games or survival games, this may be something right up their alley, and it's only $39.99, or at least, again, this is another one I had to take a guess at based on their Kickstarters. Successfully funded Kickstarter, and that was the lowest could pledge digital copy of the game.
You see, when it comes to survival games, right, a lot of the fun in it for me is watching those tickers. Oh no, I've eaten some poison meat, and oh no, it made me a lot thirstier. Oh no, I've got diarrhea. How do I feel? That, that constant stress, that constant need of, oh, good lord, I'm about to die, someone to kill me and then loot all my gear. I really do enjoy that. But then after a time, you just get so stressed out by it, and then you get trolled, and it's like, oh, never mind, I gotta play Battlefield.
Yeah, see, I'm just not interested in micromanaging all that BS. I'm not a micromanager.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Everyone, each to their own, each to their own console, Drac. Each to their own game, Drac. It's I enjoy those types of things, but when it comes to survival horror, never really been my kettle of fish. Dead Rising, nah, not really. I'd much rather live in the real world, Battlefield 4, that sort of game, that sort of thing. For hell, I'd even play Far Cry 5 before I played Agony, but that's just my silly opinion. So, Drac, tell me, which consoles is this releasing on?
Well, on the 30th of March, it will be on Xbox One, PS4, PC, and Nintendo Switch. No.
Oh, bollocks, Nintendo Switch my ass. Bollocks. I Fu-Manchu beard, yes.
Yeah, I did that just for you. No, it will not be on the Switch.
$39.99 based on the Kickstarter. Yes, I would agree. If it's any good, it should be that sort of price. £40 for a game. That's about right. I think 30th of March. Happy days. Happy days.
Well, folks, thank you for sticking around and listening to this, and if you have found any good information, there's a game here we think we missed that we should have talked about. If you're going to be playing Sea of Thieves or Far Cry or whatnot, hit us up on Twitter. Let us know what you think of it.
Yes, guys, thank you very much for listening to myself and Drac talk some sense to you. Drac is ill, as you guys can hear. He's been ill for the past couple of months now. He's got a constant fever and cold. So please forgive him for not sounding, delicious in your ear. Me, I always sound this bad, so never mind me. Guys, thank you very, very much, and go enjoy yourselves with a lovely bacon sandwich and a pint of beer. Bye, guys. Cheers. See you in the next video.